You want to know one of the signs that the city or the state that you are living in is in trouble? When a 14-year-old kid has more sense than the adults. If you live in the state of New Hampshire, I feel bad for you this morning. New Hampshire is a beautiful state that has been ruined by the religion of woke. You know, it's strange. The far left, they are all about the separation of church and state, which I support. Don't get me wrong. I don't think religion should intersect with government. It causes way too many problems. If you include one religion, you have to include them all. It's best to just keep church and state separate. But the far left is all about the separation of religion and government until it comes to the religion of woke. Make no mistake about it, wokeism is a religion. What is religion? What is the definition? Religion is defined as a pursuit or interest to which someone ascribes supreme importance. Does that not perfectly describe social justice warriors? They want your religion out of schools. They want your religion out of government. They want your religion out of the public sphere. But when it comes to the religion of wokeism, you either comply or you prepare for their wrath. Exeter High School is a public high school in New Hampshire. Apparently, they don't teach science at Exeter High School. You can call me gender phobic or whatever the term is for those of us who follow the science on this issue. And that's another thing. These people are all about following the science when it fits their narrative. As soon as the science disagrees with their agenda, it no longer matters. Screw the science. Just trust me. There are more than two genders. This is an ideological debate. This is an issue of ideology. Ideology does not have a place in kindergarten through 12th grade education. You want to teach ideology in college? Fine. Those are young adults. But pushing your ideology on children is corrupt. It's evil. There's this 14-year-old freshman at Exeter High School in New Hampshire, plays on the football team, and he was suspended for one football game back in September. Now, he was not suspended because he failed a drug test. He wasn't suspended for skipping school, wasn't suspended for getting into a fight. He wasn't suspended for smoking by the snack machines. This 14-year-old kid was suspended because he said there are only two genders, male and female. What the hell is going on? When I was in high school back in the early 2000s, you would never be suspended for saying something like that. Matter of fact, if you came with some bullshit about there being more than two genders, they would have thrown your ass out of school. What the hell are you talking about? There are more than two genders. Get the hell out of here. Here's what happened in New Hampshire. These kids were riding home on the bus one afternoon. This 14-year-old freshman was talking about the fact that when speaking in Spanish, it is hard to accommodate people who want you to use proper pronouns. The Spanish language has words that are specific to gender. For example, a group of dudes in Spanish would be referred to as ellos. A group of women would be ellas. If you're speaking Spanish, how would you refer to a group of non-binary people? That's the point this kid was trying to make. Another female student on the bus, she informed this young man that there are, in fact, more than two genders. She said, "Give me one valid reason why there's only two genders." The naive young social justice warrior in training, destined to lead a life of disappointment when she figures out how wrong she is. This is quite simple to explain. There is a simple explanation as to why there are only two genders. You can only have one sexual reproductive organ. You either have a dick or you have a vagina. There is no third choice. There's not a game called Wheel of Genders. You don't get to spin the wheel, solve the puzzle, and pick what you are. You're either a dude or you're a chick. It's that simple. Now, if you want to have a sex change, go from man to woman, and be called a woman, more power to you. Do your thing. But I draw the line when someone wants me to refer to them as they or non-binary. Hey, they, how's it going? It makes no damn sense. When you sit back and you think about this story in New Hampshire, it's actually kind of sad. I feel bad for the 14-year-old that got suspended. I feel bad for the kids on the bus. I even feel bad for the young social justice warrior. When I was a freshman in high school, our conversations, they centered around MTV, high school dances, who's dating who, pep rallies, football games, how we were going to break rules, music, who we could get to buy our beer that weekend, sneaking out to smoke cigarettes at school, who was getting into a fight after school. Typical high school shit. That is subject material that I would expect to hear in a conversation between high school kids. In my 4 years of high school, not one time did we get into a debate about whether there was more than two genders. Society has allowed these woke dumbasses to steal the innocence of your children. This should not be a topic of conversation on a school bus filled with high school kids. These kids should be worried about getting a pimple before the homecoming dance. They shouldn't be worried about offending the non-binary kid next to them. According to Exeter High School and the school board, this 14-year-old freshman was in direct violation of the Gender Nonconforming Students Policy. What the hell is that? Lucky for us, the woke defined the policy for us in their usual bullshit language. The Gender Nonconforming Students Policy gives students the right to be addressed by a name and pronoun that corresponds to the student's gender identity. The consistent or intentional refusal to respect a student's gender identity is a violation of this policy. You may be thinking to yourself, how did this 14-year-old freshman violate this policy? He didn't specifically attack someone personally. He merely stated that there are only two genders. Well, I'm about to tell you, because the story gets even worse. He ends up getting in a text exchange with the naive SJW from the bus. You know, the little girl who educated him on the fact that there were, in fact, more than two genders. They end up debating each other through text that night, which means Exeter High School suspended this kid from a football game for something that took place off campus. Apparently, the 14-year-old freshman used the terms bozo and STFU on that text exchange, and that just offended the young social justice warrior in training. When did schools start policing students off campus? When I was growing up, the school did not give a shit what you did off campus. They didn't want to know. If you were causing problems off campus, they didn't want to deal with it. Let the parents handle it. But now, we have principals, school boards, getting involved in the private lives of their students. If the little girl was getting offended with that text exchange, all she had to do was block the kid. She blocks him, he goes away. Instead, she wanted to teach him a lesson. You must learn not to discriminate against people who think they're a poodle. Just because you think you're something, it doesn't mean you are something. I can sit here all day and think I'm a millionaire. When I go to the bank does not give a shit what I think. Only thing that matters to them is the balance on my account. Just because I think I have millions of dollars in my bank account doesn't make it true. Credit to this young kid, though, for not backing down from this situation. He didn't apologize for offending someone. He didn't apologize for stating there are two genders. This kid's fighting. His mother filed a lawsuit against the school. Now, whether or not they win, I have my doubts. They're claiming the school violated their Catholic beliefs. That's going to be a tough sell in court. But that doesn't matter. That does not matter. The result of this lawsuit doesn't matter. All that matters is they are fighting back against this bullshit. All right, let me know what you guys think. The fact that kids in high school are debating gender identity and the principal and the school board being so weak and siding with the woke. Sound off in the comments below. Make sure to like and subscribe. Click the notification bell to receive all notifications from the channel. Best way to contact me is by email at btlkc84@gmail.com, kc_btl84 on Twitter. I'll see you guys later.